Okay, welcome back to we're at part two of when your success becomes everyone's obligation. When your success becomes everyone's obligation. And this video is in response to Glorilla's sister. Glorilla is a Memphis rapper. And her sister basically went to Facebook and social media and made her way to TMZ interview saying that Glorilla is successful and has all this fame and is leaving her family struggling financially, saying that the mother is working at FedEx and the mother should be able to retire based on Glorilla's success. And the sister is just embarrassed to say she's Glorilla's sister when she's driving I think it's a Chevy, some kind of off-brand car that's not a luxury car. And the sister is saying that Glorilla is obligated to help her and the family financially. And the sister was asking for like $2,500. And I believe she was asking for $2,500 for all of her siblings to be paid out each year. Which, first of all, at least if you're going to ask for money, go big, girl. At least 50K. Shoot your shot. But no, I'm just joking. But and again, this is not a video to gossip, but there's so much that we can learn from this, especially if you're creative and you know you're going to be famous, you're going to be a celebrity, you're going to be in the limelight, your platform is going to get bigger, you're going to have more money, you're going to have more access, you're going to be rubbing shoulders with different people. These are the kind of things that come up. You're going to have people, you're going to have cousins you never knew you had talking about, hey, you my cousin, can you cash at me? Can you cash at me $3,000 for the rent or I'm going to be homeless? What are you going to do? When those situations come up, when people ask you for resources, right? And this is where you have to learn when to help and when not to help. You have to know when to help and when not to help. And we're going to go more into that. And this is why I always say too, when you become successful, be mindful of what you post online. Like some wins, don't post online because when you post like what kind of car you drive, what restaurants you're going to, the type of vacations you're taking, when you post that, you kind of open up this situation even more to happen in your life where people will assume, oh, if she can afford to go to Dubai, she must be able to afford what's $2,500 when she's over in Dubai spending $10K in one restaurant, right? People, they watch your pockets, they make assumptions, and then they try to guilt trip you. And they try to act like they just believed in you this whole time. And remember when I did this? That's the thing too. Remember when I, all of a sudden, it's like a broken record. Remember when remember when I. So what exactly do you do? And I forgot if I said this in part one, but the thing about celebrities, and especially I work in entertainment. I interned at one of the biggest record labels. I've dealt with celebrities, and one thing I can say is that a lot of what people see with celebrities are illusions. It's an illusion. They're selling an image. They're selling an aesthetic, right? If they're rapping about wealth in their songs, they have to look like wealth, right? And you can easily look like wealth without having wealth. So there's this assumption that everyone who's famous, everyone who has a record deal, that they have all this money to blow and that they're rich. That's not the case. They just know how to finesse and make it appear that they're more wealthy than what they are. When a lot of these celebrities are living paycheck to paycheck, when you make more money, typically your expenses go up. Right. And some, and this is not just with celebrities, just in general with people, they make more money, they increase their expenses, and then somewhere down the line, their income takes a hit and they can't afford to be a month behind. Right. Because that's how, stretched their money is because of all the expenses they have. They're paying a team. They have a glam team they have to pay. They have lawyers they have to pay. They have, just daily, the maintenance it takes, especially as a woman. If you're a woman, you're if you're a woman, you already know just how much maintenance is just to keep your hair up, to keep your lashes up, to keep your makeup, you know, to keep up with your clothes. Like, that stuff adds up. So to assume that just because a celebrity keeps up with that stuff, that they just have a bunch of discretionary income to support other people, that is not the case. That is not the case. And how many stories have you heard where you thought celebrities were making all this money and they was like, yeah, I sold 20 million records, but I was only making 1 penny a record. They had a bad deal. The money that they made was to go back to the record label, because the record label pushed a lot of money in marketing up front. So the record label is going to recoup first before an artist even makes money. So how many times have you seen the artist be like, yeah, I was sleeping at my mama's, and I had a hit record? How many times have you heard that story? So to assume that because someone is a celebrity, that they have all this discretionary income to help you, and then not only that, but to feel like you're obligated, then that's a whole nother issue that we have to get into. And like I know, Glorilla is a Leo. So Leos do not just cut people off and not deal with people without a good reason. And there were a lot of reasons that led them to that conclusion, to cut people off. And we talked about in part 1 about what obligation is, right? It implies something owed because of a prior sacrifice, investment, agreements, shared risk. And the sister thought because she had proximity to Glorilla, that there's this obligation that Glorilla has to the whole family. And we talked about in part 1, contribution versus entitlement. And I believe that's kind of where we left off. So like I said, if the sister actually contributed, she was taking Glow to the studio, she bought Glow a car so that she could get to her shows, I could kind of see the sister's case. But with the information that I do know, the sister has to understand that nobody is obligated to help you. And you have to move in life like you're not going to get that help. And you have to learn how to depend on yourself in this world, because people switch up. Even if you're depending on your parents, one day your parents won't be here anymore. Then what are you going to do? You still have to show up for yourself. You still have to show up for yourself. And this is the thing too, is that Glow got so successful. I don't think her family thought, this is my opinion, I don't think her family thought she was going to glow up the way she did, because she blew up. Like blew up. And sometimes success can trigger entitlement. It really can. Like, success exposes comparison. Because think about it, Glorilla had 10 siblings, and out of the 10 siblings, Glow is the only sibling that popped and did something with her life. Not saying that all the other siblings should have did music, but Glow is the only one who saw something different for her life and tried something different. Right? So if you see that, if you see a sibling that you started at the same place, you grew up in the same house, what were they saying? Eating ketchup sandwiches. And then all of a sudden now you see your sister on Instagram eating steak and lobster. You're in the, that can trigger entitlement, as we see. And it forces others to confront choices they didn't make. It forces others to confront choices that they didn't make. And that's the thing too, like the family, y'all had 10 siblings. You know what 10 siblings can do? Y'all could all save up money together, start a business. There's power in numbers there. You could help each other with social media. Like, you have one sibling recording you, making content, so y'all can try to make a bag on social media. Like, y'all have all those resources there to help each other make it out. Right? But when one sees, that they have to do what they have to do and they make it out like Glorilla did, that can trigger entitlement. And proximity becomes a shortcut to self-worth, right? People think because they have proximity to you that their worth is should be attached to your worth. So because I have proximity to you, what you have we need to split it down the middle because I know you and I grew up with you. No. Right? So for some people, your success feels like proof they were supposed to be further. Let me say that again. For some people, your success feels like proof they were supposed to be further. And this is what comes up when you have success. So let me just say this too, that if Glorilla listens to this, hey Glo, if you ever listen to this, if someone can get this to Glo, this is a major red flag. This is a major red flag. For the sister to publicly shame and then go to TMZ to try to make Glo look bad, that is a red flag, because you know what that says to me? When you have a private issue and you take it publicly, it's trying to basically diminish your reputation, create some kind of emotional leverage. It's a control attempt. It's trying to get control. And it says jealousy. It just, the main word I can hear is jealousy, right? Because if this was like a contractual issue and she was speaking out, you can go take the legal route. Even if it was a contractual issue, like they signed a contract that said, okay, you're going to pay me $10K once you do this. If it's a contract and then Glo or, ignore the contract, maybe I can see you coming out talking about that. And then you go to court, right? You go to court, you take the legal route and you have documentation saying that this money is owed to you. But that's a contractual agreement. But this is, you're saying your proximity gives you access to Glo's resources and that she's obligated to help you. But this is where the red flag is, because when jealousy comes in like this, it's only a matter of time before the sister tries to set Glo up to take her out. And, I hate to say it like that, but this is the signs. Like, how many times have we seen this story play out where the jealous family member takes the celebrity family member out over money? Go back in music history and look at how many celebrities were unalived, were hurt over money that the family members thought they should get, or the family members were in business together and the one family member didn't want to do business anymore because they didn't like how the other family member was moving, and then they're unalived. So when it comes to money and success, you have to be careful how you move. You really have to be careful how you move. That's why it's advised for people to move out of their hometown, because of this very reason. Because you will be set up to be taken out. If they can't profit off of you and you're not giving them what they want, they will take you out. And the fact that the sister went to TMZ, to try to further make Glorilla look bad. And I love how Glorilla is handling it. But if I was Glorilla, I would not deal with them. I would not deal with them. They should not know your moves, because this is the makings of setting you up to take you out of here. And this is the thing too with financial help. Financial help is a slippery slope. That's why I say you have to be careful, because you can really have the best intentions and help people and they resent you for helping them. And I've seen it in my life so many times where it wasn't even like financial help. Like, I put people in positions, like, I knew somebody, so or I was in a position of leadership where I had the authority to put somebody on, and I put somebody on, and they start to resent you and they start to want to compete with you. And you're like, where did this come from? Like, I really wanted to see you win and wanted to see you succeed. And then all of a sudden this resentment comes when you help them. But especially when you help them financially, first of all, then it becomes expected. If Glo gives her sister $2,500, right? Let's say this never made it to the media and Glo gave the sister $2,500. 2 months from now, the sister's going to be asking for more money. And then she's going to feel entitled to that money. Like, oh, what's $2,500 when you over here spending 10K on a bottle? You know what I'm saying? Like, well, you did it before. Why can't you do it again? And then the moment Glow says no, there's going to be issues. There's going to be resentment and issues. And it grows over time, and it just creates resentment on both sides. And that's the thing, when help becomes identity based, it rarely stays healthy. When help becomes identity based, it doesn't stay healthy. It does not stay healthy, because also too, when you help people, especially financially, they feel like I'm telling you, this is how crazy people feel, how they think. They think that you feel like you're better than them because you're able to help them financially. They think in their mind like, oh, she thinks she's better than me. And then because you help them financially, when you tell them things, they're going to take it personal. Like if you tell them something like you're just trying to help them, they're going to take it as an attack. Like, oh, she thinks she better. Oh, she think I don't know what I'm doing. Like their egos are bruised because they're in a vulnerable position, and they're kind of at your mercy because they need your help. Right. So this is why, I'm not saying don't help people. I'm not saying that at all. But I find that because I'm a giver, I'm a Leo, and I'm a giver, and I love helping people. I find that I love helping people that I don't know and that I'll never see again. Like, I don't care. Like just the other day, I had a homeless man ask me if I could buy him some snacks at the store. And I said, yes. And I basically said, what do you want? And he told me what he wanted. I was like, is there anything else? Is there anything else? And I was kind of testing him because I was going to let him get whatever he wanted. I really wanted to see like if he would take advantage, not like take advantage of me, but just see that the door was open for him. Like ask for what you want. And that's the reason why I wanted to help him, because he asked. Right. And I saw the need, and obviously he's hungry. And he knew to ask me. And I bought whatever he said he wanted. He put it, and I bought it. And you know what? That made me feel so good. And what I loved is that I'll never see that man again. I'll never see that man again. And I was able to help him in that moment. And that's what I love. I can help you and not deal with you, versus when you have a family member that feels entitled. Yes, should Glow help her parents? That's up to Glow. I don't know the relationship that Glow has with her parents. I believe she bought her dad a house. But at the end of the day, you have to move in this world taking care of yourself. Even if people promise you things, people don't come through on their promises. And there's a contract. That's why in business you have contracts in place. You have certain things in order, because people flake out. People don't hold up their end of the bargain, but that's a contract. That's a contractual thing. So you're protected by that contract to bring that to the court of law. You know what I mean? But when it comes to financial help with relatives and friends, you have to be careful. Even if you want to be helpful, you have to look in the future of what does this mean, and what are you really helping? Are you enabling them? Are you really helping them? Is this someone? I could see if it was a friend and they had a business and COVID hit, and they needed just like a few months worth of expenses to help them like revamp the business or something like that, because they're actually doing something. They're not just sitting around looking for a handout. Like they're actually building something. And I can vibe with that. But for you to just feel you're entitled because you have proximity to me, and that's the thing too, like the friend wouldn't even have to ask me for the money. I would see the need, and I would feel better if I see the need and help versus them asking me actually. But I would have to be in that situation. So let me just say, was Glorilla wrong? Is Glorilla obligated to help her sister? No. And the sister having that mindset is just going to hold her back and keep her stuck, keep her in anger and resentment and unforgiveness. And it could cause her to do something bad to try to hurt Glorilla. So the sister needs to find her own lane, right?